For this series is made possible through the generous donation of an alumnus who really just saw a need for sales education. So we're so very grateful to be able to be here with you today. Today's presentation marks the 1-year anniversary of launching this free series. So it's only fitting that joining us to help deliver today's presentation is Jason Forrest, CEO of Forrest Performance Group, and just so happens, our series kickoff speaker. So welcome back, Jason. Joining Jason today is Mary Marshall Forrest, President and Chief Learning Officer of Forrest Performance Group. Together, Jason and Mary will discuss the 6 energies of a complete sales warrior. This virtual program focuses on transformational strategies, tactical real-world processes, the language of persuasion, removing those things that hold people back, and a program-based training approach to warrior selling. This philosophy is what led warrior selling and leadership sales coaching to be ranked in the top 2 of the world's top sales development programs by global gurus. Mary and Jason are master practitioners in neuro-linguistic programming, the science of influence and behavioral change. They also are practitioners in accelerated evolution, which is the psychology of removing fear in high performers. Before I hand the controls over to Jason and Mary, I want to share a few housekeeping rules. First, if you have a question, you are welcome to share it in the chat along the way or save it for the end when we open it up for our Q&A. And depending on the question, it'll either be answered as we go along or it will be repositioned at the end. Also, you're going to receive a post-event survey right after the session ends. We ask if you can please take a moment to complete the survey. It helps us to be able to make sure we're meeting your programming and experience expectations. So with that, I'm going to hand it over because this is a great presentation and I want to jump right in. So Jason and Mary, take it away.
All right. Hey, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Franklin, for having us. And what a great series this has been. Again, we were here a year ago, which is crazy that 12 months ago, we kicked this whole thing off. And so if you haven't seen that message, then definitely go to Franklin University and go to the website and check out the original message that I delivered about selling is noble. And it's definitely important for you to always remind yourself of that. So just to kick us off, I'm 43 years old this year, and I've been selling since I was just a little kid in my dad's jewelry store. At the same time, one of the things that I've realized to be true along the way is that some prospects I had this complete energetic synergy with, where other prospects, I feel like I'm on a different planet. Maybe some of you guys can relate to feeling like you're connected to some, but feeling completely like they're on Mars and you're on Earth, and it's a different kind of energy. You know, some prospects from the very beginning of the conversation, I just had this complete in sync with every word I say, every advice that I give them. You know, where others, I feel like I'm kind of repelling them, or they're rejecting kind of what I'm saying. This, friends, was all until Mary and I discovered that there are these 6 human energies that are actually in each of us. And some of these energies we're using 100% of the time, where others of these energies, we have them, but they're more dormant in us, and they must be cultivated. So I want you guys to write this down. I found this is total game changer for my career. And again, I want to share this game changer with you. I found that my conversion rate was equal to the use of these energies. And that once I cultivated my dormant ones, I was able to double my conversion rate. So again, we're going to introduce you to 6 of them. What we found through our research is that each of us probably have 3 of the 6 that are more active, that are more cultivated in us, that you're using more consistently, just like I felt. And those are the ones that I was using with customers to move that sale forward, to achieve those sales goals that I wanted to achieve. But it was the other 3 that, again, were inside of me, but were not cultivated. They were dormant. But once I put focus and attention on cultivating those dormant energies, I was able to double my conversion rate. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the 6 energies of a complete sales warrior. And as we go through each one, as you know, I'm a fast talker. Mary, fortunately for each of you, she talks a little bit slower than I do. But I want you to write down in the chat box if you feel that the energy we're talking about is an active energy for you, or is it more of a dormant energy that needs to be cultivated? See, I believe that awareness is the birthplace for change. We don't really, if you think about like when you've really changed something in your life, when it comes to, a big decision, when it comes to something around your health or your physicalness or your spirituality or your education, whatever it was in your life, maybe a relationship, it was really, you didn't change when you decided to act. Usually the change began when you brought awareness to it. And that awareness was the birthplace to change. And once you had that awareness and you realize, yep, I really need to do something about this. I don't like the pain that I'm in with this situation. Then and only then did you take action and do something about it. And so I want us to bring awareness to, again, the energies that you feel like you're active in and the energies that you feel like you're dormant in. And it's okay if you feel like you're strong in some and again, weak in others. And at the end, we want you to rank them. We're going to rank them from 1 to 6, 1 being your absolute strongest and 6 being the one that you need to cultivate the most. But I promise you, once you do that, and once you take this awareness, and then once you start applying the things that we're going to teach you to do today, I promise you, I know this is like a huge, crazy claim. I promise you, you have the ability to double your conversion rate going forward just by unleashing and cultivating energies that are already within you. How cool is that? This is not something that you're broken, we have to fix you. This is just something that we need to pull out of you and show you how to do that for yourself. Look, in the end, I want everyone to believe this if you don't already, and that is a sales warrior is on this planet to lead, protect, and serve. You are here to lead your prospects away from the pain and towards life improvement. You are here to protect your prospects from spending less and getting less. And you are here to serve your company's brand promise as well as your customers' like greatest goal, like their greatest objective. What are they trying to really do? You're here to serve that. You're a servant leader as a sales warrior. But here's the problem, and this sets up the whole day, the whole message here. The problem is if you're not using all 6 of your energies, and say it again, if you're not using all 6 of your energies, then you are not fulfilling your highest purpose of leading, protecting, and serving. So with that, let's begin with the energy of presence. So presence, write this down. Presence is the first of the 6. So write the word presence down. So presence is listening to understand. Presence is tuning the world out and making the person in front of you the most important person in that very moment. This next thing I'm about to say might be the most difficult of all. Presence is turning off all of your Slack notifications and your app notifications and all the notifications that you have and all those other disruptions so that you can pull your full attention on the person in front of you. Presence is giving your prospect your complete attention, even on Zoom. Even on Zoom. This is not presence. Typing over here, looking at the screen when the video camera's over here. This is not presence. Presence is giving people your full attention. So right now, those of you, let's just practice this. Practice, even though not everyone's got their cameras on, just practice right now for 10 seconds. For 10 seconds, let's give everyone the full attention. Full attention, meaning looking them in the eyes, looking them at their picture, being fully tuned for 10 seconds. Just looking at each individual picture. That was just 10 seconds. So here's a little test. Here's a little quiz. We always like the little quizzes in life, right? So if that was comfortable for you and you're like, that wasn't that hard at all, Jason, then you have cultivated the energy of presence. Energy of presence is active in you. But if that was really uncomfortable for 10 seconds to tune off all distractions and really give everyone your full attention, look at the camera, look at their faces, then that needs to be cultivated. So when I first started speaking professionally in 2007, I hired a speaking coach. His name was Steve Siebold. And I was a corporate trainer prior to 2007. But I wanted to take my game up and I wanted to get paid for speaking, And here's what Steve told me. He said, Jason, as a speaker, we need to eliminate all distractions that you are doing to the audience. Then we will add payoffs. I mean, I had all kinds of crazy stuff. I had magic tricks and I said the word a lot. And I was doing all kinds of things that were distracting. He said, Jason, it's 80% eliminating the distractions and then 20% adding the payoffs. See, presence is letting your prospect vent letting your prospect complain sometimes even, but giving them their space to do so without arguing back or interrupting. Presence is making sure you call on each stakeholder when you're doing a complex sale, and calling each stakeholder on the sales call and asking each salesperson, asking each customer that you're with about their needs, about their wants, about their desires, and not, write this down, just talking to the one who talks the most or the one who you think is a decision maker. That's not presence. Presence is giving every person your full attention and letting each of them spotlight and being able to share what's important to them. Presence is choosing to not lean in and be the needy guy of sales and giving everything just, oh, whatever you want, you're always right. That's not presence. Or the opposite, which is leaning out and being aloof and like you're not interested. Again, typing on the other screen, being somewhere else. It's being upright. It's being there for your prospects. So if you want your prospects to open up to you, and who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want a prospect to tell you their fears, their frustrations, their failures, the reasons why they're thinking about leaving competitor X, the reason why they're not happy with their current situation? We want them to tell the truth to us so we can serve, protect, and lead them. We want them to tell us their desires, dreams, and destiny. The only way to do that, friends, is to be present with them. So right now, write in the chat box if you feel presence is active in you. Or do you feel like it's dormant and needs to be cultivated so that you can lead, protect, and serve even more of your prospects? So right now, just write active or dormant. Now, Mary, tell us about the energy of expression.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, friends, each of the energies has a supporting opposite. So one that seems completely different, but without it, it doesn't cultivate the other. And so for presence, the supporting opposite is expression. And our definition of expression is speaking your highest truth. So our highest truth is most of the time, what does your prospect need to hear from you? As opposed to what do they want to hear from you? So in my world, and I'm sure it's in yours too, have you ever had someone come to you and they say, okay, here's my goal. Here's where I want to get. This is what's really important to me. And in order to get to my goal, I want to buy blank from you. And the blank that they picked is not going to get them to their goal. That happens a lot, right? Because they have a big, outrageous, amazing goal. This is what I want. And I want to buy your smallest package or product in order to get that. And a lot of times they want us to say yes. And a lot of times it's easy for us to sell that bottom package, but we know it's not going to get them what they really need and to their goals. And so being in expression says, you know what, I'm going to say, and I'm going to speak my highest truth, which is what I know they need to hear. The truth that I know is that what they're asking for isn't going to get them to where they want to be. And so instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the truth with them. And I'm going to take that risk that they might decide not to buy from me. But I'm going to risk it because I want to sell them what's truly going to change their life and get them to their goals. And so when we look at this, if you want someone's presence, let me share with you how the supporting opposites work. You've got somebody, they're not being present with you. They're everywhere, they're looking, they're working on their second screen. If you're in a physical location, they're walking in a direction and you're following them. The way to pull their presence back in is to express, is to share your highest truth, not the yak, not anything that they can find on your website, but something that's going to help change them. That pulls them into being present with you. And then some of the times in our sales process, we really want them to express their highest truth with us. What do they really want to accomplish? Why are they speaking to us? Not the surface level, but the real need. What's the real problem that they want to fix? That we are here with a solution. And so if we want somebody to share the deep truth, their highest truth, the best thing that we can do for them is give them that presence. And so here are a couple of litmus tests for your presence and expression. And so one would be the litmus test for presence is if you've ever had the experience where someone's speaking to you and they're like, I just met you. I can't believe I'm sharing all of this with you. You know, my friends and my best friends and my family don't know this about me, but I'm sharing it with you and I don't know why I'm doing this. Well, that's the metric. That's the litmus test for you that you hold really strong presence, because presence creates a space of emotional safety for people. And know this too, that whether you are selling to a B2C, to the end user client, or you're selling to a business, sometimes we think, because sometimes we've been told that selling to a business isn't emotional. But I think that it's even a more emotional sell, because I know when I'm buying for me personally, my purchase affects me, it affects my family. But if I'm making a purchase that's for the business, I am affecting many, many families' lives, many people. So it's much more emotional on the business side. Now, there's also a litmus test for expression. So if you want to know if you're really strong in expression, one of the things that you can think about is if you've ever had that experience where someone says, yeah, I'll give you 5 minutes of my time. You've got 5 minutes to pitch to me. And then 5 minutes comes up and you go, oh, you know what? It's been 5 minutes. Should we reschedule another time? And they're like, well, I mean, I have a few more minutes. Why don't you can give me a little bit more. And they give you all that extra time. Well, that means that you were speaking your highest truth. You were speaking to their heart. You were speaking to their needs. You weren't giving them yak. You were speaking truth. And when somebody is speaking truth, we listen. We lean in. We want to know more. And so whenever they've given you more time than they said they would, then you have a strength and expression. So right now, let's put in the chat box, is expression something that's really easy for you? Man, I'm going to tell you the truth, even if it hurts. I'm going to say it sensitively, but I'm going to tell you the truth. Or is it something right now that needs to be cultivated to feel stronger and more confident sharing things that sometimes somebody might not want to hear? All right, look at these. Easy, nice, hard, good. Wherever you are, we're recognizing it, and now we can move it forward. All right, Jason.
All right, so far we talked about the energy of presence, giving people your full attention. And then Mary talked about the energy of expression, which is about disrupting patterns and about getting people to pay attention to you. Now let's talk about the energy of claim. All right, claim is what you stand for. Like, for example, I claim igniting the pride, purpose, and respect to professional selling. Claim is also knowing what you believe in. Such as, I personally believe that people are doing the best they can with the resources they have, and that positive change always comes from adding more resources. But claiming is knowing what you believe in and drawing a line in the sand. You know, claiming is leaving it all on the field every time you speak to a prospect. I remember my senior year in high school, Texas football. The head coach looks at us all. We had the state championship game, and I was playing rush linebacker, defensive position. And he looks around and he says, majority of you seniors are not going on to play college football. I was not one of them. He said, so here's what I ask of you. I need you to claim leaving it all on the field. I need you to leave all the football on the field. Don't be that 43-year-old man that lives vicariously through their kids on the football field. Don't be the man who can't get away from the TV, the TV every Saturday and Sunday, because again, they're trying to relive their childhood youth again. Get it all out of you on the field. And so I can tell you right there, that last game of my senior year, I played until the whistle blew. I'm this 220-pound, 6'2" rush linebacker. And if you can picture me, the whistle blew, and I immediately on the field on defense, I'm on my knees, and I am crying. The face paint is all coming down my face, because I knew at that moment I had died free. I had fulfilled what he had asked me to do. The football was out of my system. I didn't need to do it anymore. And to this day, I watched the Super Bowl. That's it. But prior to that, when I was a kid, football was my life. But claiming is leaving it all on the field. What does that mean? When you're talking to your prospect, you need to have a belief system that says you're never talking to him ever again. There's no follow-up. There's no next conversation. Oh, the next time that I talk to him, I'll make sure I say blank. No, leave it all on the field. Have zero regrets. Claim your goals. Claim your sales process. Claim your selling message. Claim is saying to your customer, today we're going to talk about blank, and own it. Claim what you're going to talk about with them. Or say this to a customer. Hey, Mr. Customer, the way we work is. The reason people choose us is. The first time I considered buying an Apple computer, I was a total PC guy. I was probably around 2010-ish, I believe, maybe earlier than that. It was when the iPod was out, the iPod that was like super crazy, kind of white and had a gray black and white screen. And I got sucked in, right? I was one of the ones that got the iPod, and the iPod was the gateway drug into their whole universe. And I was the one that took the gateway drug. And so I walked into the Apple store and I said, look, hey, I'm a PC guy. I've been told that Macs are like 20% more expensive than PCs, and they don't work well with some business applications. And here's what he said. He claimed it. He said, Jason, you're correct. But the people who choose us have different priorities. They want a machine that just works out of the box without all that bloated extra software that slows their computer down. And the business applications that work with us are for the more visionary, artistic, creative type of person. So why don't I show you right now and demonstrate our Macs to you, and then I'll ask you, are you a PC guy or are you one of us? So then that's what he did. He claimed it. He showed me the computer and asked me at the very end, so are you a PC guy or are you one of us? And I said, I think I'm a PC guy. And he said, great. Now let's go decide if you want a laptop or you want a desktop. Let's see what you want next. But he claimed what Apple was and what Apple wasn't. He didn't apologize for the price, nor was he trying to beg me to see it his way. That, Sales Warriors, is claim. So write in the chat box right now if you feel claim is active in you, or is it dormant and needs to be cultivated again so you can lead, protect, and serve even more of your prospects.
We got a lot of active there, Jason, with claim, which I'm gonna let you guys know. Here's the secret. I already knew this about you. Do you know why? I did, Jason, I did. I'm not even, I might be psychic, but this wasn't using that skill set. It's because those that choose to go into commission-based sales, you're claiming your income, you're claiming your life, you're claiming your hours, you're claiming things that normal, everyday, everybody else in the world isn't claiming. And so the supporting opposite to claim is surrender. And because I knew that most of you are going to be very strong in claim, because you're already claiming so much, you have to have at least, even if we think, even those of you right now that say, hey, I need to cultivate that a little bit, you might, but you're still going to have a stronger claim than the average person, because you can't and go into commission-based sales. You just can't. So the supporting opposite, here's another thing. This is going to be a little bit more, this is going to be a little tougher for you, because this is outside of the norm of where salespeople lie. So that is surrender. Now, don't get nervous. It's not waving a white flag. Surrender is consciously choosing to not waste energy on what you cannot control. So surrender is the conscious choice to not waste energy on what you cannot control. So the real question is, where are you currently wasting your energy? What are you worrying about? And what are you concerned about that is you cannot control? So in the last year, there's been some real big ones that have come up. Pricing. How much of your time is wasted and depleted with pricing and price increases? Or supply chain? Or even just corporate initiatives, or even, hey, what's the marketing department doing over there? Like, I don't have as many, what are they doing? Everybody's underwriting. What are they doing? Are they working hard enough? Are they getting fast? Are they really doing everything for me right now? And so whenever we do that, whenever we are depleting or worrying about these places that we don't have control, the effect of that is that we are now lost some of the energy that we could have given to our prospects, that we could give to our clients when we're account managing them, that we could give to ourselves on our mental toughness or learning a new skill set. Worrying about these areas doesn't give us any benefit at all, unless you have control over it. So if you're, the head of sales and marketing, then worry about marketing too. You can do something. Don't surrender it. The salespeople need you to not surrender. But if you don't have control of it, it's letting it go and not allowing yourself to worry about that. So here's something really, really interesting. It was a few years ago, right before the country locked down. So I guess 2 years ago, it was in January, and Jason and I go to Hawaii. We're on the Big Island. It's a very remote area where we are. And we go to this place called the Wild Beach. And it was the most dangerous beach I've ever been to in my life. It's black sand. It's beautiful, but it's ripping up my feet. You have to climb down a cliff to get to it. And down the cliff are all these really heartwarming signs about how many people have died in the last month in this ocean. That's how rough it is. And we're with this mastermind group, all business owners. And our leader there says, all right, guys, we're going out into the ocean. I'm not a swimmer, so I'm a little bit nervous about this. And so we go out into the ocean, and he says, what we're going to do is I want everybody to float on your back. And so what happens to this group of people with high claim energy? Boom, we're sinking to the bottom, one after another after another. And then all of a sudden, one person is floating, and another and another. And eventually Jason floats. He might have been the last one. It's okay. Eventually he floats. And what we learned that day is Jason and I were crawling out of the ocean, barely getting out, trying to breathe, is we looked at each other and said, oh my gosh, has there ever been a better example of surrender? Because if you fight the ocean, which is pricing and supply chain and corporate initiatives, if you fight it, you sink. But if you just surrender and you trust the ocean to carry you, all of a sudden it does. It's not my job to keep me up. It was the salt in the ocean. It was the ocean's job, and surrendering to it. And so I want you thinking about that when your mind starts to drift to an area that you can't control, is I'm going to sink if I do this. Let's let it go. So do it for you. And now for your prospects, remember, it's the supporting energy of claim. So if it's a place that they need to surrender, they're having so much claim energy, you need them to surrender. It's showing them that claim, letting them know from their words that you've got them, that they're okay, that they're safe, that you're claiming control of this situation so they don't have to. You're claiming control of creating your next meeting. On the other side, when can we surrender? Both sides. So go ahead and put in the chat box if surrender is easy for you. Is it active or is it dormant? Is this one a challenge?
Great. All right. Again, so far we've talked about the energy of presence, giving people your full attention, the energy of expression, which is speaking your highest truth, the energy of claim, which is, again, knowing what you stand for and what you don't stand for, and of course, the energy of surrender, which is just choosing your battles and deciding where you're going to put energy. Surrender by far was my hardest one to cultivate, but I will tell you that once I put energy towards it, once I started cultivating it, it by far made the biggest impact on my success. The thing I want each person to know is each of us have a certain level of motivation every day to start your day. You have so many kind of motivational units in your day. And we need those motivational units to move sales forward, to make that extra follow-up call when the customer ghosts us, and we got to keep following up, Here's the thing. You can either put your energy to things that matter, or you can put your energy to things that don't matter. And what happens with surrender, if you don't have the energy of surrender, like I did not have, I was trying to fight the world. I was trying to fight things that just didn't matter, things that I couldn't control. I wanted to fight it all. That's not healthy. And so I was so worn out trying to fight things that I couldn't control that I couldn't put my energy towards the things that I could control. So again, maybe some of you need to, again, cultivate the energy of surrender. I know I did. Now, of the 6, my strongest is this one, and that is penetration. It's the energy of penetration is the energy to win market share. It's to take massive action. If you were procrastinating right now on achieving your goal, the easiest way to stop procrastination is to tell me an action step you're going to take right now. So like right now, I would ask you this question, tell me an area you're procrastinating. And the next question I would say is, tell me an action step you're going to take to move forward towards that. The best way to stop procrastinating is to just take action. Penetration is to give your unique perspective, even when it's uncomfortable, but you know it's serving your customer fully. It means following through with your commitments. It also means living your purpose. Penetration is this belief system that a warrior always finds the advantage. The number one thing that we tell our clients whenever some circumstantial thing is going on, like right now, interest rates are going up. We got the war with Russia potentially happening. We got inflation. We got the stock market crash. There's always something going on, right? And I always tell them, look, the warrior always finds the advantage. Whatever is a disadvantage for your competition, you could easily flip it and turn it into an advantage for you. For example, March of 2020, I went to my team and I said, we got this whole coronavirus thing happening. Let's write a book. Let's get it out in 2 weeks. And it was called Selling Through the Coronavirus. You can get it on Kindle right now for $1. I highly recommend checking out the book. Very quick read, but I wanted to serve people and I wanted to penetrate our belief system that said, you don't have to be a victim of this thing. You don't have to shut your business down. There's a better way. And let me show you a better way to sell through the uncertainty of the marketplace. That's penetration. I started FPG out of an energy of penetration. Check this out. I don't know if you know this or not. Only 6% of businesses make it to $1 million a year in annual sales. This is my personal belief system, which I know falls on the face of a lot of conventional wisdom out there. But I believe too many businesses fail to launch because they spend too much time on the business plan and not enough time just taking action. And I know that sometimes is against what we learn in MBA school. I'm not saying don't plan. I'm just saying that sometimes we need to stop talking about what we're going to do and we just need to start doing it. And that's what I did. When I started FPG, I just picked up the phone and I started selling things. And then I said, you know what? Whatever they buy, I'll then create for people. I didn't spend all this time trying to figure it out and then selling. And then I would have lost my seed capital and I wouldn't be able to execute my program. Okay. But what's poser penetration? I want you to write this down. Sometimes we think we have penetration energy, but we really don't have it. So poser penetration energy is having the courage to tweet about something or post about something on Facebook, but not the courage to say it to someone's face. So if you are too afraid to say it to someone's face, but you have no problem just randomly saying it on the metaverse or whatever it's called these days, that's poser penetration. That's not real penetration energy. So penetration is finding ways to stand out from your competition by being provocatively respectful. For example, one of my famous lines that I say whenever I'm selling our training contracts is I'll say, hey, I'm Mr. Customer, I'm curious. Would you ever get on an operating table with a doctor who just went to a 2-day seminar and then you're the first person they decide to operate on? Hey, don't worry, I got into a 2-day seminar. I even got a little certificate that said I completed the 2-day seminar, the 16 hours. I got this figured out. Just take the medicine, I'll cut you open here pretty soon. Of course you wouldn't do that. Then why is it that do we hire hardworking sales professionals and sales leaders? We give them $1 million quota, and then we do that to them. So those are words that I use when I sell to people because I want to be provocative and respectful. And I want to separate ourselves from our competition that believes that training is nothing more than a 2-day event. That's not training. That's not going to drive the results that hardworking sales professionals need. They need a program, which is what we teach. So penetration is using statements like, the next thing I want to share with you is, or now that we've decided that you're definitely going to make a change and stop doing blank, now we need to decide if we are the right choice for you. Or it's saying to your prospect, I feel if you go with XYZ competitor, you will not achieve your goal of blank because you said the most important thing to you is blank. Penetration energy is picking up that phone when someone is not calling you back. Or my favorite thing to do is I send people a selfie video. I will send about 4 or 5 selfie videos a day to prospects that are ghosting us because I want to penetrate right into their cell phone and they pick it up. It's something simple like this. Hey, Mr. Prospect, this is Jason Forrest. I know it's been a couple of days since we last talked. I sent you a couple of emails, but I decided just to go ahead and go right to your cell phone here. I know you had some concerns about blank. I definitely feel like I've got a solution for you. I want to talk about that solution over a Zoom call. My calendar link is in my cell phone here, right below the video. So just put yourself right on my calendar, and I'll definitely love to resolve any loose ends that you might have. If I don't hear from you in the next 24 hours, then I'll just send you another video. Look forward to talking to you soon. I do that all the time. And my competitors do not do that. And so I'm finding ways to them that they're not doing that. And the last, I think penetration energy is mastering the final close by saying to the customer, all right, Mr. Customer, there's 3 options I presented you today. Of these 3, which one is your favorite? Great. So you like option 2 the best. So does that mean you're definitely moving forward with us? And it's just a matter of talking through the pros and cons of option 1 or 2 and seeing which one is really truly better for you. It's using the assumptive close. That's penetration. It's not, all right, Mr. Customer, well, let me know if you have any questions and I'll send the proposal over. And if you're interested, then just, sign the document and then we'll get started. That's not penetration energy. So right now, right in the chat box, as we all take a breath, right in the chat box, if you feel penetration is active in you or is it dormant and needs to be cultivated so that you can lead, protect, and serve your customers even more fully. Mary, take us home with the energy of invitation.
Yeah, that was a lot. Take a drink of water.
That was a lot for me. I just had a lot to talk about.
Get really excited on that one. And this the same way that penetration energy is when they're the right client for you. Man, this is the type of person I want to work with. These are my people. And you also know that you're right for them. You have the product or service that is going to help them meet their needs. That's going to get them to their goals, right? We don't want to let that get away. I can't. In those situations, I always think, if you haven't moved forward yet, I haven't said it correctly. I haven't explained. So let me go at this again. Let me try this again, because I can't let you go with a competitor, or I can't let you, even worse, do nothing because I'm now invested in your goal. And if I care deeply about you and want you to get to your goal, and I know that I have the solution, I'm all in. Then you're getting 12 selfie videos a week from Jason, right? We know, can't let you not get to your goal. Oh man, I can't even imagine, Jason, when you were like 16 and dating, how obnoxious that must have been. But okay, so let's go back to the opposite side of that. There's an energy that we need to hold before we know whether they're our customer and whether or not we have that solution for them. And that's the energy of invitation. And that energy says, man, I really want to work with you, but I don't need to work with you. I want to work with you. I want to get to know you. I want to see if we're a right fit, but I don't need to. So that we're really moving from the heart and from that space. I like to think of this energy like a pillar. Like I'm like a pillar, heart open, curiosity, interest. I want to know about you. I want to know your goals. And I also think from this energy, sometimes I hear somebody's goals. I don't have a solution, but I'm in with them. Let me send you somewhere where you can get the help that you need. There is a solution. I know a lot of trainers. Sometimes it's not me. Sometimes it's somebody else. Sometimes it's marketing help. Sometimes you need operations help. Sometimes it's not sales. Let me send you that way, Mr. Business Owner, Miss Business Owner. Let me do that. So that's the energy of invitation. The energy also with that pillar is, a pillar is unshakable. It's unmovable. So no matter what you say to me, whether or not you say you love what I do, you love what I'm saying, you don't like at all what I'm saying, I'm okay. That's okay. I'm all right. I'm a sales professional. I'm really good at hearing no. I'm fine with that because I'm so grounded and what I do and believing in what I do and who I am in my approach, that I can just have that invitation, that hostess mentality of inviting everybody in, being completely inclusive. Everyone's invited, and together we'll determine whether or not we're a good fit for each other. And man, if we decide, well, we're going into penetration, but if not, that's okay too. Then I'm going to invite you to go somewhere else, invite you in a different direction, making sure that I can help you and serve you in these moments that we have together. And that's, I think, especially on our qualifying, especially on our first calls with people, is really asking ourselves, how can we be more inviting? How can we invite them to give us more information? How can we make someone feel like they belong? And here's the real key. Everyone everywhere wants to feel like they belong. And so that power of invitation, the energy of invitation, allows someone to feel like they belong. And if you can do that, even when they're not the right fit with the company, that energy of, this might not be the right fit, but you still belong with me and you still belong on this call with me, in such a way that I'm going to serve you and help you in every moment. And I might not have a product or service to sell to you, but maybe I have a solution or an idea that I can share or a direction I can send you in. Well, now we're cultivating and we're really holding that space of invitation for people. And so looking back at all 6 of these, and you can put in the chat box right now how you feel like you do on invitation. I want you to remember all of these. We all have all of them. Even if they're dormant, they're there, and we're utilizing them sometimes, because here's another secret. These energies, we're talking about with them in regards to sales, but I'm sure you've had other experiences and thoughts that have come up as we're speaking of friendships you have, or relationships, or communities you're involved in, and going, yeah, I see that in myself there. So even if, invitation is dormant for you when you're selling, it's not other places. So we can pull that over. And a lot of times what we are most active in is a result and example of the company that we first started selling in. So if you first worked for a company or a sales leader that was really strong in claim and penetration, very assertive style of selling, then you cultivate that one more, because that's what you were taught. That's what was celebrated, and that was working. So that one's strong. It can be the same with presence and expression. You were in a sales organization. They really preached and really taught, hey, make sure you're listening. Listen, listen, listen. And then share everything about our products and services, our brand, who we are. If you're from a sales organization that the brand story is something that's really taught to be shared at the beginning of a sales message, then you come from a sales organization that has high expression. Or if you have a sales organization that was high on invitation and penetration, so it's all of them. It's come from where we're cultivated from. And so now the next level of sales, right? And we have to cultivate some of them in sales first. So if you are brand new in sales, then pick the ones that are celebrated in your organization, that the top achievers are doing, that feel the most natural to you, and cultivate those first. But if you are a seasoned salesperson, if you're a veteran, you've been doing this for a long time, the way to get to the next level is making sure that we're rounding out those dormant ones, so that in every situation with a prospect, you can step back and say, what would serve this person and this moment and their goal the most? And then pull that from within yourself and deliver that, share that with them. And if you're in a place where you're working on cultivating 1 or 2, you're new in sales and all feels overwhelming and new, that's okay too, because in cultivating 1 or 2 of them at the beginning, people become very, very successful being good in 1 to 3 of the energies. You can be a top achiever doing that. That's brilliant and beautiful and perfect and exactly where you have to start. But if you're ready to serve all people and to go to the next level, then it's deciding the parts that are a little bit trickier for you. How can I round them out? And then how can I put into a practice that in every sales situation I'm in, I have that moment before I speak that just says, what would serve the moment and the person right now? And then moving in that direction. Thank you all for letting us share those. I think, Sherry, we're ready for any questions.
I'm trying to take it all in and I'm trying to be present, but take notes at the same time. And I'm afraid that when I look down, you think I'm not being present. So this was a little difficult. So luckily we're recording this for everybody that
Really
can
funny.
watch it later. This incredible. And I was thinking of a couple of questions as this went through, but I want to invite all of our attendees. If you have a question, please put it in the chat box. We'll go ahead and try to address as many as we can in the next few minutes. I have a question just to kind of throw it out there. I love the idea of the video, but there's a part of me that has been taught, and this is probably more of I hate to say this female thing, but, don't be loud and brash. Don't, you need to sit in a certain box as you approach things. What does that ever come off as? Not too much in your face. That's not what I want to say, but are there people that respond poorly to the idea of you sending them selfie videos? How do you deal with that?
Jason, do you want to take it first? I know you have no issues, and then I'd like to
Yeah, I definitely want to hear Mary's perspective on this. But what my simple thing would say is, again, what I always believe, again, this is always coming from my kind of motivation behind things. Is again, I feel like I'm a leader, a protector, and a servant, and so with that, I want to lead, protect, and serve. So my biggest fear that drives me is that my competition is going to manipulate them to choose them over me because they've got a lower price or they've got some kind of swindle deal that they're trying to make it happen. And it's really not going to serve the customer. And so that is my inner fuel to get over any sort of call reluctance is what you're really referring to. You're referring to a sales reluctance. And it overcomes that because to me, I look at it and go, I want to be, it's selfish if I don't do that, right? It's selfless if I try to serve and protect and lead my customer. And if this is the best way to get in front of them and disrupt the pattern and get them to pay attention to my message, then I want to make sure I do that. But I know Mary can give a different perspective on that.
No, I do agree. And I take that idea with any time it's time for me to close, is if there's anything inside of me that gets nervous, because there still is the times where I get nervous about it. The same thing that Jason was saying, but just in my more feminine words, is I can't allow somebody to not feel wanted or that they belong or that I wanted to do business with them. I can handle more somebody telling me no than them feeling like I didn't ask them. I don't think enough of them. Now, when it comes to the video, that's a little bit different too. And here's my thoughts on the video. The videos can be the same way that all sales processes are. I remember when Jason and I were talking about, I had been in sales for a long time and worked for many different companies, was always the top salesperson, manager, and then was taking time off. And Jason and I were talking, and he said, I really want you coming to sell, and I want you, working beside me and selling with me. And I said, I don't know. I don't know if I want to go back into that, because I become very aggressive when I'm selling, and I'm not sure that I love all of that side of me. I really like a feminine, softer approach. And, especially when you're watching Jason sell, you can see the claim and the penetrations. I don't know that I want to do that. And he said, oh my gosh, Mary, I'm asking you to come and work beside me and to sell because I want you to sell in your way. Now, we didn't have the energies, we didn't have that knowledge back then, but what he was saying to me is, I want you to sell with your dominant energies. I want you to sell from that place. I don't want you to change. And I think it's the same with the videos. The videos themselves, I don't believe or feel are too aggressive. And I will say with our sales team is men and women, I've never heard of a single person from our clients or our own sales team that has had a negative response to a video. In fact, they've been really, really welcomed, and people love it. They're like, wow, you care enough, you sent me a video. So it's been really positive. But the self-talk before then for me is the video also gets to be a representation. And so in that moment, the video is penetration, but what you're saying and the energy you're expressing within that video can be any of them. So if you're feeling an invitation energy, or what we need right now, that person needs is a more expression, or they need that invitation. That's a more loving, warm, comforting, wholesome energy. If they need that, be that in the video. it doesn't have to be like completely direct. The video can be at any of the energies themselves. Is that helpful, Sherry?
It's very helpful. And I want to apologize. I thought my phone was off. I hate when people do that. And my phone just went off. So my sincere apologies.
We didn't even hear it, Sherry. We didn't even know.
Then I take it back.
It's all good.
Well, with that, I do want to say, as you know, again, if you have a question, put it in the chat box. We have recorded this session, so this will be available on our website. It usually takes about a week because we have to make sure that we are ADA compliant with that. But you will be able to go back and watch this again. But if you have a question now, please, Rachel is asking if you can send a sample selfie video.
Well, what I can show you, here's a fun thing. So I do a lot of crazy things when it comes to these videos, and so I can show you kind of crazy stuff that I've done because I'm trying to get their attention, right? So I'll show you stuff like this. Like I've sent, I know you're going to think I'm nuts, but again, I do this for, you're going to think I'm nuts, but I do this for billion-dollar CEOs. Again, this is not a like a small business thing. Because again, the immediate kind of leash we have in our brain is, I don't know if that would work for my clientele. And, look, your clientele are human beings first, and then they're billion-dollar CEOs later, So I do stuff like this. I'll create a little memoji of myself on Apple, and I'll do stuff like this.
Hey, Jason Forrest here. Here are 4 questions that you must ask yourself every single day. Number 1, what do I want to accomplish by when? Number 2.
So I'll do stuff like that. And then at the end, I have a little wrap up, and then and they always comment back. They're like really funny or whatever. They always comment back. This was one.
I was just taking a look at the naughty nice list and saw your name was right up at the top. I couldn't help but wonder what led you to claim the top spot and had to check twice. When I saw the work you're doing to transform people's lives, you have Santa's seal of approval. That is well deserved. As one of my members of my nice list, how wonderful it would be to treat yourself to a gift this year. The greatest gift of all, to increase your sales in 2021. Ho, 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 Merry.
So that was what I did last year.
Great.
At the end, what I did is I put my face on each one, right? Because you can, all the apps are super free now and they're easy to do. So I took that video, I paid a Santa $50. So I paid a Santa $50 to create that thing. And then I just put a personalized message at the end of each one. And I was like, hey, I hope, I don't know about you, but I want to always listen to Santa's advice. Santa says the greatest gift is to improve your sales. So let's talk about how we can make some sales happen for you. So it's like stuff like that, right? That it's personalized, but it changes things and so forth.
It's not the email that says, "It's just following up. I haven't heard from you. Want to know how you're doing." Nobody's going to respond to that. Not anymore.
I love it. And it is going to stick out in their mind. Even if they don't respond to you right away, that is different than the email. It's, it is going to be that differentiator that makes you pop in their brain. That's wonderful. Wonderful. I'm looking, I'm not seeing any other questions. I want to, I'll do kind of a close up here again, if you have any kind of questions that you want to think of, please put them in the chat box. I want to thank you, Jason and Mary, as I fully expected. This was an incredible presentation. I took lots of notes. Well, I tried to. I didn't want you to think I wasn't being present. And I'm sure others did as well. For our attendees, again, a recording of this presentation will be published to our sales series page, probably within another week or so. We just have to spend a lot of time making sure that we are ADA compliant on that. If you enjoyed today's presentation, I invite you to join us March 24th at noon when we welcome back Mary to discuss sales leadership coaching. In this program, you'll learn the fastest and most effective way to unleash sales performance. You'll learn how to understand your sales warrior's exact goals so you can lead them to get what they want, how to quickly uncover the most profitable area that your sales warrior needs to focus on, a coaching process that accomplishes exactly what you want within the time frame you have, how to remove the mental leashes that hold your sales warriors back from executing 100% of the time, and how to overcome opposition to your sales coaching. In April, we'll be hosting session 2 of the Science of Selling with David Hoffeld. We hosted him again within this past year and had a great response, so we're bringing him back. He also has a new book out, so I think we'll get a lot of people on that one. In addition to this series, the university offers a variety of events through our Leadership Center, our Global Center for Healthcare Education, and our Center for Public Safety and Cybersecurity Education. I wrote it out because I always say it wrong and I still mess it up, so my apologies. If you visit franklin.edu/about us/community engagement, you'll have access to all of these events. Again, thank you, Jason and Mary, for sharing this incredible insight. And thank you to all of our attendees who joined us today. We hope we see you soon. And just a quick reminder to please fill out your event survey. Have a great day, everyone.